up, Hero Stock Nation?
On his 18th birthday, he's headed south on a Greyhound bus, and it's the most scared he's ever been. His destination, an old island on the Carolina shore, and he doesn't know what to expect. He ain't had it easy. Most would say he's had it rough, but he don't complain to anyone. His choice was simple: coal mining or shooting a gun, and he hopes it's one he won't regret. Greyhound bus stops on a dime, and he runs out to stand in line. He looks down to see the yellow footprints to teach him how to stand. The yellow footprints, first steps to being a man. The yellow footprints, where so many stood before. The yellow footprints, just what he was looking for. Ain't no stranger to working hard and doing what he's told. For what he can tell, he's fitting in. Yes sir, no sir, it's all he says, it's all they want to hear, and he don't give them nothing more. Reveille sounds at 4:45. He jumps out of his barn to stand in line, just like that night. The yellow footprints to teach him how to stand. The yellow footprints, first steps to being a man. The yellow footprints, where so many stood before. The yellow footprints, just what he was looking for. 13 weeks can seem so long, but it's always darkest before dawn. And he remembers that night. And the yellow footprints to teach him how to stand. The yellow footprints, his first steps to being a man. yellow footprints where so many stood before. The yellow footprints are just what he was looking for. He was looking for.
What's up, Hero Stock Nation? Welcome back to the Roundtable, where heroes talk. Tom Lamog here with my co-host Matthew Jones. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Matt, what's new, buddy?
Oh, it's just it's kind of the same old, man. Rise and grind every day, but today's a little different. I'm excited. We get to talk to another musician, right? Every time we have one on, I got a list of questions for selfish reasons. I want to know about what kind of problems they've dealt with music. I want to know there were some tips and tricks. Like, I am picking brains today, so.
I want to kind of talk a little bit about the website because, there's a lot of things happening in the world of Hero Stock, the event itself that's taking place on August 15th. And if you're wondering how many days are left until the big day, the big event on August 15th, you could go to herostock.org. And right there is the counter. And right now, during this podcast, I'm showing 79 days. And, of course, 18 hours, 38 minutes, and 51 seconds. But that's now changed. That's now in the history. But we are actually doing the countdown to Hero Stock 2026. And, Matt, have you stopped by there lately? Because there's some updates that we definitely ought to share.
I should do it more often, and I haven't. But I do want to talk about one thing that I know. We do have another guest coming a little bit later on. He's been here before. But we're going to talk about the event that's going on. It's the big, beautiful, badass beard battle over at Hero Stock at the Country Drive Golf Course there. Bring your face fur, right? Enter the competition, have some fun, make some memories. It doesn't have to be a huge beard, it doesn't have to be a small beard. Whatever you're rocking, bring it. Join in the fun, be a part of the whole event, and just have some fun. So I'm excited about that.
Yes. For obvious reasons, I'm sure you and both Mr. Steiner.
Oh, yeah, I got this face jacket right here,
We have a nickname for it. It's called
yeah.
Anyway, that's one of the events that's coming up, and we're happy to share with you the fact that Doc Goodbeard himself, Kevin Gowron, is going to be our guest in July 7th. He's going to stop by, talk a little bit about the beard competition, but he's just one of many. In fact, he's one of the sponsors to Hero Stock, and just go to herostock.org. We definitely want you to check out some of the great things that are posted on that site. We've got the events and the tickets. If you want to get your tickets to Hero Stock, that's where you go to find them. If you want to find yourself a new Hero Stock hat or maybe a shirt, our apparel, the Hero Stock store is also at that site, herostock.org. Our list of sponsors, and we're starting to get many sponsors. I'm going to go and read who some of them are. Mannheim by Cox Automotive, Veteran Renovations. We've got SEC Homes. There's just so many that are listed here. We've got Elite Body Wellness. So if you're wanting to become a sponsor, stop by the website. And if you're a vendor, and we had a number of vendors last year, we had 75 of them show up, from Javelin to 88 Tactical, Rolling Cigars, Doc Goodbeard, of course, Dog Tags Garage, so many to list. If you want to be a part of the Hero Stock 26 experience as a vendor, set you up with a booth. You'll get high traffic, a lot of people walking past you and giving you the opportunity to tell them a little bit about what your organization is about. That's all happening. Herostock.org if you want to get in touch with someone specifically about becoming a vendor. Jason.herostock@gmail.com is who you reach out to. So lots of stuff, definitely, for sure.
Lots of stuff.
Tonight, our guest is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He's a songwriter, guitarist, and the frontman for the band Dinnerbell Road, known for their authentic blue-collar storytelling and what they proudly call Rust Belt country. But before that music, before he became a Marine, there was a young man growing up and finding music and eventually finding purpose through service and songwriting. Tonight, we would like to welcome our guest, and that would be Cook McKoy. Cook.
McKoy.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hey, man, welcome to the
Tom
Roundtable.
and Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Happy to be here.
Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey, let's talk about the song that you opened the show with, all right? Yellow Footprints. And I know that this is something that I read about in an interview that you did for Canvas Magazine. Tell us more about that song.
Yeah, so that song kind of, it was in my brain pretty much since I was 18 years old. I'll just kind of compress everything. Small coal mining town, West Virginia. I did not want to be a coal miner because I saw what it did to my grandfather and my father, and my brother to this day is still a coal miner. Hard living, and I just thought I wanted to do something a little bit different. So, I went and started talking to the Marines, and, actually, it's a funnier story if you got a second, because I went there to join the Air Force. And, when you go to when you went to the recruiting station where I grew up at, you have to walk. The Marines are the first door on the left. And so I was walking in there into the hallway, and I hear, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Is he talking to me?" And yeah? He said, "Come here." He said, "Where the hell are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go talk to this Air Force guy." "No, you're not." And kind of, the rest was history. Funny
Were you
story there.
surprised by that? Were you surprised by that?
My grandfather was in the Air Force, and he just, always told me those Marine guys are crazy. They're crazy. You don't want to be crazy. You don't want to know that. So, as a kid, obviously you respect what your grandfather's telling you. I just thought those dudes were nuts. They're crazy. They die first. I'm gonna
So
go
you had some idea in your mind before you went in that I'm steering clear of the Marines, and just
yes, a little bit of an idea, but my grandfather, God rest his soul, wasn't obviously correct in his beliefs system there for the Marine Corps. But I went to join the Air Force. Didn't make it past that first doorway. Signed up. Went back and told my dad. I said, "Hey, I signed up for the Marines today. I'm supposed to leave in a couple of weeks." This was right after graduation. He goes, "No, you're not doing that." I said, "Why not?" He said, "No, you're not going there." I said, "I'm not signing those papers." I said, "Okay." So I graduated high school. I was 17 years old. Still, my birthday's in August, and I had to wait till August so that I could go. And in the song, it talks about I left on my 18th birthday. That part's true. I left on my 18th birthday because that was as soon as I could go. Because at that point, I could sign my own paperwork and go. So, I left on my 18th birthday, and kind of wrote a little song about what happened when I got down there. And a lot of people seemed to like the song. It resonated with a lot of folks, and
the video too. I mean, the video that you have posted with the song
on YouTube. Yeah.
On YouTube, right? There were two of you playing guitar, I thought, on the hood of a truck.
Yep.
What that was. And I thought, this is very cool. What's the story behind all of this? And I mean, you saw get the guys coming off of the bus, and they're lining up, and then it went off. I think it took you to boot camp, and I would be curious about your boot camp experience. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't have any idea what to expect. I mean, they try to prepare you for that, but I'm sure you've heard they purposely get you there at like 3 a.m. so that you're just delirious and not know what's going on. And it's just
like it's depicted.
It's a rat race after
in your video, right? Like it's depicted.
In the
3 a.m, and they're just waking up.
3 a.m. You have no idea. 30 seconds after you get off that bus, you're standing on those footprints, and then you're getting your head shaved, and somebody's yelling at you the whole time. It's disarrayed, and it's controlled chaos from their perspective, but from your perspective, it's, oh my God, what have I done? What choices have I made? But, if you have enough pride about yourself and you want to do something, you stick it out and you make something of yourself, because I tell you what, when you leave Parris Island, South Carolina, you're a different person. No doubt about it.
when you before you enlisted,
Yeah.
were you a different person in your youth than
Oh yeah, I was ornery. I was one of them kids that just, was in the woods all day.
Yeah.
We used to steal, hot Budweisers out of the back of my dad's truck and hide them in the woods and drink them on the weekends. And,
Oh, it's so
Mad
awful.
Dog 2020, all that stuff. Yeah, it's the worst. To this day, I can't take a sip of Budweiser because of those hot Budweisers you take. But, yeah, I mean, if you just imagine a typical hillbilly kid, that was me, getting into mischief and riding four-wheelers around and drinking beers and chewing Copenhagen. It's about,
Yeah,
about all I
that's
did.
what I'm talking about, old son. Chewing some Copenhagen.
That's right, man. Well, we worked hard, Spend the summertime cutting up logs for the winter, as David Allan Coe said, so,
Man.
that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I mean, the thing that I really appreciated about boot camp was, being in West Virginia, living in a holler, literally, that's your view of the world. When I went to Paris Island, I was in the barracks with dudes from the Bronx, from Florida, California, all these different people from all these different places and walks of life. And it made me realize, man, this place is a little bigger than Bingham in West Virginia, so that was cool too. It's just kind of an eye-opening experience.
When we spoke yesterday, one of the things that stood out to me is that I know you served from, was it 94 to 99?
Yes. Yep.
And I said, Cook, I'm trying to find information about who you are, what your military career was, and I couldn't find anything. I thought, well, I know that Karen told me that he's he's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, but that's all that I knew.
Yep.
And the response that you gave me was an interesting one. Do you recall what it is that we're talking about?
Yeah. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I didn't get to go to combat. I was right in between both of the Iraq wars, and there wasn't much going on when I was in. So, yeah, we just, it was kind of a deal where I had to do that extra year. So I had to do a 5-year contract because I had to do, my MOS school is a year long out in 29 Palms, California, which is a pretty crazy
My
place in
backyard.
itself.
Hey,
Yeah, literally the
that's right there.
Mojave Desert. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I didn't get to do any combat, and sometimes you kind of feel a little bit guilty about that. And after 9/11, I definitely was right on the doorstep of going back in. But at the time, you know what I mean, I had a child on the way and things like that, and that kind of took a little bit more of a precedent. So, yeah, I don't want to say it was boring, but I don't have any war stories to share, I went in, I had a blast. I met some really great people that I'm still in touch with today, and that was all she wrote. I got out and now I work for the phone company, so they trained me well.
I know that those who enlist simply see themselves as individuals who are, they're serving. This is a time in their life where they're doing what they believe is the right thing. Were you looking to become a hero, or are you just here to do your duty for our country? Or what? Maybe you can. What's the motivation behind your enlistment?
Well, so I think the primary motivation was to get out of that coal mining town and just, because I feel like if you don't get out of there, you're just going to be stuck, and a lot of folks that I know from high school and whatnot, they're still there. And I'm not knocking that at all. I think it's just, I didn't want to work at the zinc plant. I didn't want to work at the coal mines. I didn't want to, do some of that stuff that really, at the end of the day causes a lot of health problems for you. I didn't want black lung. I didn't want all this other stuff. And I wanted to see some different places. Plus, it was a situation where my dad and I, we didn't really get along that well. So I needed to, a break from that too. So it was kind of a perfect opportunity. And after talking about it with my grandfather, he said, yeah, you should join the Air Force. You should go see what it's about. And, you know what happens when you try to go join the Air Force, you end up joining the Marines. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of my story. It wasn't. I've always been patriotic. That's always been in my blood. You know, both of my grandfathers were in Korea, and they're veterans. My mom's brother, my uncle, he passed away in Vietnam. So I've always had kind of that itch to do my part. You know, and that's what I ended up doing.
I got to ask you, man, what first sparked the interest for music, and how did it evolve on active duty or after active duty? Like, did it start there, or was it, you said you'd already kind of had it in your head, so music was there?
Yeah. So I've always I grew up listening to country music, you know, Hank Jr., you know, Sammy Kershaw, Tim McGraw, those kind of guys, right, from the 90s, Tracy Lawrence and all them. I didn't know anything about songwriting or instrument playing until I was stationed in Okinawa, and I had a buddy who was stationed over there with me, and he was getting ready to rotate back stateside, and he had a left-handed Japanese Fender Stratocaster. I just happened to be left-handed, and he goes, hey, if you're interested at all in playing guitar or learning, like, this is a good guitar, I'll sell it to you for $20. It's cheaper for me to sell it here than to try to ship it back home.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'll buy that off of you for $20. So I had that, and I ended up bringing it back home with me. And you know, back then, you're talking about late '90s. There was no YouTube. There was no Google. You couldn't. You kind of had. You had to still buy the books, you know, to try to learn chords and learn notes and things like that. So that's what I did, and I learned a little bit. Got my little crate amp. I remember a little 10-inch crate amp, and I used to jam out some AC/DC and stuff like that. But like I said, got married, had a child. Even before that, I know I had some trouble. I had to pay car insurance or something. I ended up pawning that guitar, I think for a couple $100 or whatever it was, and I never was able to go get it back. But you know, after having my son, I just kind of put it on the back burner. You know, I always enjoyed it, you know, but I didn't get back into it until years later. I think it was in my early 30s when I met the guy who, Tom, you saw in that video with me, a good friend of mine, Bob Goodland. He said, man, you know, you should get back into it. I think you got a lot to say. And it ended up, I had a few things, and picked up the guitar again and started playing. And man, here we are 10 years later. I've got a band and records and all this other stuff. So
in the thick of things, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Do you think?
But it's been a blessing, you know.
Do you think that your career in the military, did it influence your songwriting and the way you tell stories from maybe before you even started thinking about doing any type of music or even storytelling?
I think a lot more from my childhood crops up when I'm songwriting. Songs like Yellow Footprints, for sure. That's a 100% true story. There's a song that I did on our last record called I Need Some Help, which is about, a hurting veteran who just needs a helping hand. That obviously came and I guess that came more after, because when I started getting involved in, some of the charities and fundraising for veterans, and then, the whole 22 a day, I really, started paying a lot of attention and reaching out to folks. And, there's some folks out there that are really hurting, and they could use some help. And I kind of wrote that song with those guys in mind. But I think, go ahead.
Catering? Are you trying to position your music to appeal to those who've served or who are serving?
Not necessarily. I think it's just a part of the picture. Okay. I sing a lot about cocaine and hookers too. I'm not trying to
you're going
reach
for the
out
country
to those
crowd.
folks,
Is that what you're telling us?
It's just I sing about things that I know. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
I sing about you
got it right from the heart.
And it's funny because people always ask me. Yeah, and that's, just let me clarify. People that have known me for years, they say, "Man, I've never seen you touch a drug in your life." I was like, "I never have." I said, "I sing about my old man, and he's the one that kind of had the problems and the alcohol and the drugs and stuff like that." And I sing about what I witnessed, as a child, as a young man. So, and that's just you mentioned, we kind of call our music that Rust Belt music, that Rust Belt rock or Rust Belt country, and people sometimes ask me, what is that? It's just not, it's not the notes, it's not the chords. It's, if you listen, it's the stories. It's the stories of the people here in Pittsburgh that, worked at the steel mill up until the 70s and 80s and then got laid off and ran into some hard times, that kind of stuff. Even today, a lot of people just looking for, something to do, a way out, and they get tied up in some things they shouldn't be. And, it's kind of storytelling like that.
Are you a storyteller? I mean, before you picked up a guitar, were you, someone who would share stories with others and capture them into your storytelling style, or is this something you had to develop?
Yeah, I mean, going back to when I told you about the folks that I met from other walks of life, we'd get to talking and we'd talk about my upbringing and their upbringing, and they'd just look at me like, "Are you serious? People actually live like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's how we roll. Outhouses are real. They're real things." And I've been in one, my fair share. So, they just can't believe it. Dudes from New York City and stuff, and they're all good dudes once you get to know them. I mean, we're all the same. We're just, trying to do our part. If you're a good person, you're always just looking to do your part for your fellow man or woman. So,
very, very cool.
That's where we're at.
We've invited you to sing some of your songs for us. Have you got another one that you'd like to share with us right now? Maybe give us a little backstory before you share it with us.
Yeah, so I'll do that one. It's called "I Need Some Help," and it just talks about, it kind of centers around the post-traumatic stress, syndrome, and PTSD, I guess is kind of the acronym for it. But, people that just haven't acclimated back to civilian life yet, and they're, having a hard time struggling. We talked a little bit about guilt. A lot of folks, they come back, they rotate back from combat, and they feel guilty. They feel guilty about not being back over there with their brothers. So, and I know a lot of folks like that. So I wrote a song kind of about that. Not exactly, but it's along those lines. So it's called "I Need Some Help." I need some help, 'cause these pills don't work no more. Because of me, she packed her shit and walked out the door. I need some help, 'cause I'm drinking more every day. My mama said to get down on my knees and pray. So just lock me up and throw away the key. Stab my heart and watch me bleed. I'm better off dead right now. I hate myself. Well, the things I've done and the things I'll do, the secrets I keep, if you only knew. I need to find the exit door from this hell. I need some help. I need some help, 'cause I'm lying here on the floor. There's no one here to pick me up just like before. I need some help. these walls are caving in. Preacher man says I need to repent my sins. So just lock me up and throw away the key. Stab my heart and watch me bleed. I'm better off dead right now. I hate myself. Well, the things I've done and the things I'll do, the secrets I keep, if you only knew. I need to find the exit door from this hell. Well, I need some help. Well, I need some help. Won't you lend some help?
Hell yeah.
Well done. So Cook, with songwriting, when you think about putting together a tune and a melody with a story behind it, are you thinking of, I want this to be a commercial hit, or is it, this is important to me that I tell the story the way I want to tell, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks?
Yeah.
Where do you lie within that spectrum?
I don't. I could care less about anything commercial or hit or anything else like that. I've had people tell me, hey, if you drop a few curse words or if you shorten this song down to 3 minutes and 15 seconds, we might get it on the radio. And I say, no, it's a 5-minute song, because if I try to shorten it, then I don't get to say what I want to say. And, I don't know if that's belligerent. I don't know if that's stupid. I really don't know. But at this point in my life, I'm not willing to sell out something that I really believe in for cash or for money or for fame or fortune. I really don't care about that. I got my family, I got my friends, and, I can't take any of that shit with me when I'm 6 feet in the ground.
A lot of the guests that we've had come through the program itself talk about the authenticity in songwriting and how important it is for it to resonate with the heart, with individuals who can relate to that. And it doesn't matter that it's a hit or not. It's generally not even thought of or in the same, probably would be in agreement with you as well. That's very
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, bud.
Yep.
What skills did you have to intentionally learn first when it came to like songwriting, chord progressions, networking, digital audio workstations? Like, what kind of skill did you intentionally learn first, or did you intentionally go after first?
Guitar, chord transitions. I mean, you learn the chord. I kind of had, like I said, a brief history with chords, and I'm sure, as you know, playing an electric and playing an acoustic, they're two different worlds.
Oh yeah.
You really have to put in some work to be able to go from one to the other seamlessly, right? Because it's all in the touch. So in the second iteration of my music story, I started out with acoustic. And again, when you're playing acoustic, your fingers bleed. You get, you're trying to work through getting those calluses going. For me, it was just trying to listen to some of the songs that I loved and playing along. And I think that kind of got me to a place where, I was comfortable. And then you got bar chords, that's a whole different deal. But eventually, I would say after about a year, I was ripping. I was ripping through. And then I decided to write my first song, which was a song called Play Me a Song, which, this is a funny story, too, if you have a second. You're familiar with bro country, right? Like like Luke Bryan's and the Florida Georgia lines and all that stuff. Luke Bryan was the domino, I think, that took everything down, with that corn makes, rain makes corn makes. I was like, what is happening? Like, you really dug deep for those lyrics, didn't you?
We're just grabbing the obvious.
At that point.
You tell him, Luke.
Right? You tell him, buddy. It was horrible. But where I was going with this is I wrote a song called Play Me a Song, which makes fun of songs like that. And it's kind of a catchy tune, and it here around Pittsburgh, it kind of caught on a little bit. And the funniest part, the ironic part is, one of those radio stations that played that crap invited me down to play that song live.
Oh,
and I was like, wow, like, do you realize that you're inviting me down to make fun of you? Like, do you even know what's happening? So that happened, and it was funny. I still look back on that and I'm like, I can't believe it. It's just,
did it put you in a tough position after you played it? I mean, did they agree with what?
Not at all. They loved it. Yeah, I was tweeting about it. They played it on the radio a few times, and and then it was a dead stop, because I think what happened was somebody said, "Hey guys, have you listened? Have you actually listened to this song?"
Oh, someone blew the whistle on you, huh?
Yeah, and then I think it just kind of ended, and it's not like we're blackballed or anything. We only had a couple songs out at the time, but like I said, I was never in it for fame and fortune. It's a hobby. It's something that's fun to do, and it just so happens that luckily people kind of dig what we're doing. You know what I mean? As a band, and I've got a whole solo career. I play nearly every weekend. I go out and play shows at breweries and restaurants and things like that. So
let's talk a little bit for a second about your start in performing. I think either I read it somewhere where it's like, all right, I've never done this before, and an opportunity opened up. Is that how it started for you?
Tell us
that story. We have a minute. We have more than a minute.
So I was on Facebook, I think, and I saw one of the restaurants down the road was canceling their live music that night. And I said, man, what the hell? Because I had been playing with my buddy Bob at that point for a few months. And I said, so I called. I said, hey, I saw where you canceled your music tonight. And they said, yeah, unfortunately. I said, well, I'm so-and-so. I'd like to come and perform. I don't. You don't need to pay me. I'll put a tip jar out and whatever else. And so I went out there and I played for 2 hours, and I think I made $30, and it was the best $30 I've ever made. And I tell you what, you talk about being scared. I mean, there was probably like 15, 20 people in that bar, and it's still, I was just scared
for your first gig. You had 15.
First gig.
Man,
yeah,
that's a packed house, man. I think I had a conversation for mine.
Yeah, and you kind of try to work through that. But a few months back, I got to open for Aaron Lewis, and I don't know if you know who Aaron Lewis is, but we got to open for him. And it was a big arena. There was probably 10,000 people there, and I felt the same way I did that night in that little bar when I walked out there. It was
insane.
Wild. It was wild.
Dude, Aaron Lewis is one of my favorites, man.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, me too, man. Yeah,
through and through.
He's great.
What?
He is great.
I mean, if you can just kind of sum up in just a short phrase, what was that first experience for you like? Knowing that, I know it was a scary time, but there must have been some lessons that you've learned that you carry with you today. But really, maybe you can sum up what that experience did for you.
It made me addicted to performing live and connecting with people is what it did. And that was probably 8 years ago. And I've probably played thousands of shows since then.
Thousands.
Thousands, yeah. I stay at it, man.
Well, now
stay at it.
And you have a band now. When did the band come into the scene?
So the band came into the scene when it was just me and Bob. We did that EP. We did an EP, I think, in 2018 that came out. And like I said, that one song that we had, Play Me a Song, it kind of caught some traction. And I said, well, shit, maybe I should write music. And then I sat down and I wrote 3 more songs, Yellow Footprints being one of them. And then we did that 4-song EP. And then, got a band together. So, got a bass player, lead guitar. And, I never wanted to be a honky-tonk kind of country, that kind of country. I was always more interested in kind of like the Whiskey Myers, Blackberry Smoke, Wetzel type of stuff. And that's kind of where my heart's always been. So the EP that we did it had steel guitar and fiddle and stuff like that. And it's cool, And that's what I knew listening to 90s country my whole life. But then, with the first album we did, we started to experiment a little bit more. Still didn't quite get there, but the record that we put out last summer called Rust on the Rocks, that's the sound that I've always been wanting this band to sound like. And it's just, it's great. I mean, like I said, I don't have the money to put behind it to try to, get people to listen to it or advertise and stuff like that. But the people that listen to it, they're like, man, this is solid music. So that makes me happy. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, did you have to pay the studio, or is this a homegrown set of recordings?
Yeah. No, so yeah, a little bit of both. Recording music now is really easy, as Matt can probably tell you. The mixing and mastering is the hard part. You want to get a professional to do that. But recording music nowadays, you can buy the stuff at your local music shop to do that. You really can. As long as you got a good room for it, you can make that happen. Yeah. Yeah. So that cuts down a lot on the cost. But, but luckily for us, though, our bass player, Adam, he went to school for music mixing and stuff like that. And he worked at a recording studio for a long time. And he was like, yeah, just throw me some money and I'll take care of it for you. And I tell you what,
you got yourself a little audio engineer right there, man.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do. And he did a heck of a job, and we were so impressed. And it came out good, man. And, everybody that listens to it, they say, yeah, this is real good stuff. Real good stuff.
How many songs have you recorded? Have you got like hundreds? Like, it's amazing. That's like a trick question. I've got thousands of. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Now, finished and done, like on Spotify, there's probably 14, 26. I want to say 26 or 27, maybe something like that. But there's many, many more. It's just getting the time. Like, I'm a dad. I have a 23-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter, 2 step kids, and my lead guitar player, he has 2 young kids, and we're just kind of fighting the family thing versus trying to find that perfect balance. And usually in the summer we're pretty busy, but around October, November it slows down a little bit, and then we can record some more and get some more stuff down on wax, as they say.
And you're gigging on top of all of that too. Yeah. Time becomes an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, lucky for me, my wife is very supportive of what I do, and a lot of people don't have that. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing it nearly as much. But I don't know how to explain it. She just, she's a great woman, and she's behind me 100%, and just lets me kind of. Not that it's my dream, but she knows how much joy I get out of it. So she doesn't. She's not going to complain about 3 hours a week. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you: do you run lyrics and ideas by your wife?
I do.
She kind of go no go, and then like, okay, well, the band's gonna listen to it next, but
she tells me when there's too much, and too many lyrics about whiskey and stuff like that, and know what I mean, getting drunk.
Country.
Yeah.
Trucks.
Yeah.
This is too Rust on the Rocks.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have tweaked a few things, based upon her input, but it's nice to have somebody you can do that, Matt. Hopefully you have somebody that you can do that with as well.
Oh yeah, I found quite a few people when I finally decided that I was gonna give music a go, and I just started sending things out to people, and I'm like, if they respond, great. If they don't respond, great. It's just kind of the way it is. But I mean, it's an amazing journey, man. I love telling stories. And
I do too.
I'd have to ask you, what's the hardest part about telling the story? Is it getting the message through in a way that's vague enough that allows multiple leaders, or not leaders, multiple listeners from different walks of life to really kind of fall into it and kind of make it kind of a song of their own?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. And I can't say that I've given it too much thought, but you kind of do sing to an audience that you're familiar with, or that you've become familiar with. I'll say is And I've had people from like Texas and Arizona and Alabama, send me messages or send me emails to say, man, this is really good. When are you coming down here? And I'm saying, probably not, but I'm a long way from going to Texas on a tour. You know what I mean? Playing down at Billy Bob's or something. But it's nice to get that feedback that your music is resonating a little bit with people outside of just your kind of region, which, here being like the Pittsburgh, kind of like the tri-state here, where you got Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania here. And so I know the music that we write kind of resonates there, but does it resonate with people in Denver, Colorado? That's what you're asking me, and you want to hope that that's the case. I don't know that I tailor my lyrics or my writing to make that be, but if it does, cool. If it doesn't,
you ever kind of feel like you have to go back and just kind of simplify some things, like maybe clear the water, maybe the message is a little muddied?
I'm trying to think of an exact situation. But no, I don't think I've ever done that, honestly. I wrote a song a long time ago about living in a double wide or wishing that I had a double wide. And somebody said, well, there's people that don't even know what a double wide is. And I said, well, shame on them. Double wide trailer, that's, when you're a kid, in my situation, if you had a double wide trailer, that meant you were doing well. You know
Tom,
what I mean?
do you want to tell them what you learned about at Hero Stock last year?
Oh, I think I brought this up recently. The lean-to.
A lean-to. You had no idea what a lean-to was.
Lean-to shelter. Yeah.
It's kind of, I'm here in Los Angeles, right? I'm here in California. And it's kind of like, we call that a cabana. It's like, I don't know what a lean, I felt really.
First of all, I'm sure if you walk down Skid Row, you'll see a lot of lean-tos.
I don't know that that's what they call it. That's the thing.
They don't? Gotcha. Okay. So it's just a language thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's regional, I think.
Well, they said, where are we going to jam at? They said, over by the lean-to.
What's a lean-to? Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's like, what the hell's a lean-to?
Sorry, Hero Stock Nation.
Tom's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway.
That is funny.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Matt.
You're welcome.
Gosh.
You're welcome.
Cook, hey, we got time for one more song, and then we'll bring things to a close. What can you share with us, and what's the story behind it? Because we do have a minute to hear your story.
Geez, I don't even know what song. So I have a song about just messing up once or twice too many times, and
messing up how?
Trying to doing bad things like drinking and stuff.
Okay. All right.
But, and then trying to get back in the good graces of some people that you shouldn't have hurt in the first place.
Ooh.
How's that sound for a song?
Yeah.
What's the title?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
The song's called Today.
It's like, I'm sorry for what the booze did. Here's my 3-part apology.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of people do that. What is that, the 12-step program or something that they do? They make amends and all that stuff. All right, I'll let it rip here. Told me to leave, so I stay away. Can I come home? No, not today. Well, that bottle on the shelf is calling my name. It's not coming down. No, not today. All I can look forward to is time. Do what you need to do, and I'll be fine. Drop by our house, see if you're okay. Can I come in? No, not today. That old beer joint is just down the way. Should I stop in? No, not today. Flushed my sober youth down the drain. Looking for a second chance again. Well, I don't know what to do to numb this pain. Well, I've got these demons in my blood, running through my veins. Oh, I need you. Oh, I need you today.
Cook
I
McKoy,
forgot I scream a little bit at the end of that song, so hopefully it wasn't too bad on the on your end.
Hey, you know what? You get what you get, folks, because, free concerts are hard to come by these days. It sounded fine, man. Cook, it's been great talking with you. Yeah, where can people find your music and your videos, and maybe you can direct them to where they can find that?
Yeah, sure. Videos, we have a lot of live performance stuff up on YouTube. Just go on there and look up Dinnerbell Road. You should be able to find it pretty easy. We have all of our recorded music is all on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, Pandora, all that stuff. So feel free to go on there and check it out. I really appreciate you giving us a follow on Spotify and a like on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. And kind of helps. It helps. Every little bit helps. You know what I mean? To just, bring a little bit of exposure to the songs and to the music.
Or live music, for sure. You got any big performances coming up?
Yeah, we just did, I think we talked yesterday, last weekend we did a big music festival out in Harmony, Pennsylvania to raise money for Butler County Veterans in Need, which was really cool. We got a carnival coming up. I can't see. This is the thing. I know there's probably 9 things, but I just can't off the top of my head. I have to be the one that looks in my book and says, "Oh yeah, we got a big one coming up." But off the top of my head, we have some festivals and stuff like that. But I don't
ask my bus driver.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how I am.
Yeah.
But,
I just want to ask you, Cook. You talked a little bit about the work that you do for veterans, the fundraising that you do, and I know that you're volunteering. Would you like to kind of do a shout out or talk a little bit about the things that you're doing, and if they need to get a hold of you for anything or how to contact you for that?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to contact me, the way most people do, is just on my Facebook page. Just look up Cook McKoy. I get a lot of requests. I know I'm doing something in a couple weeks at the American Legion over here. I just played at the VFW down the road about a month ago, which was really cool. Real quick, a 90-year-old veteran got up and sang Willie Nelson with me. It was really cool. And he was so happy when he got to do that, man. That was just, it touched my heart, and it almost made me cry, but it didn't. I kind of held it in, but just message me on my Facebook page. Give a quick shout out to Karen Dunn. She got me involved
Karen
with
who?
Guitars for Vets. Yeah. And she's really great, and she does a lot, You know, she puts up with a lot too. But
she's
great.
Is she still the chapter coordinator out at Butler?
She is.
Yeah.
Yes, she is again. Yeah, there was a hiatus thing there. I don't know what happened for sure. I kind of do, but I don't know if it's public. You know, whatever. But yeah, she's back in the mix now.
We know what happened.
Yeah.
We know.
Good. Yeah. She's back. I'm happy she's there because she really does a lot, and you know,
for the years I've known her, yeah. And you've been with the program for a while, or have you been with the guitar?
I would say this is my third year. Yeah, I think this is my third year, maybe. Yeah.
A few things I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I enjoy doing it, you know, and the guys get a kick out of it. And, you know, I made a couple of good friends. Like, there's people that I met through Guitars for Vets that I still hang out with, you know what I mean? And that's really cool.
The dedication, not only from the instructors, but also the students, the graduates themselves, are so genuinely appreciative. I didn't serve. Coming in as just someone who's a musician that basically said, hey, we're in the pandemic, I have nothing to do and I want to help. And all of a sudden my phone book started to fill up with contacts, and they're all very cool and considerate. So I wish you the best with that. Gents, time we bring the show to a close. I mean, it's been wonderful having you, Cook, talking about, things from your own life, your experience in the military itself, and just being able to share your music with us. God, that is just so special to get the behind the scenes look as to how you brought it together and the story behind it. It's just so important that we get stories like yours out in the world, because it doesn't happen often enough, does it? I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't.
All right. Well, in closing, I'll just say this, that the Hero Stock Nation podcast network, and that consists of, we've got Apple, we've got Amazon, and we've got Spotify. You're going to find us there, and on YouTube at Hero Stock Nation. Our mission is to give our veterans, our active military, our first responders, who are musicians, artists, authors, and other everyday people, an opportunity to share what that Cook just did. It's the experiences, it's the struggles and the victories. And if you'd like to be a part of what both Matt and I do, drop me a line, tom.herostock@gmail.com, or stop by our website at www.herostock.org. We've got the big event coming up on August 15th in Ashland, Nebraska. And Matt can tell you all about the beard competition, because I know he's going to be there not only to compete but also to perform as well in our songwriters round. So, Matt, any closing thoughts?
I'm going to defer. I'm going to switch that question. I'm going to take that over to Cook. Cook, any thoughts that you would give to any of our veterans, first responders, Gold Star family members, or just our listeners that are thinking about stepping into some form of art, some form of creativity to rediscover themselves? What would you give them as a helpful tip?
The first thing I would say is, don't be afraid. It always goes back to that old Michael Jordan saying, is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and what's the harm in it? You know what I mean? Like, if you've got something that you want to do and you've been thinking about doing, I would say just go for it. You don't want to be 80, 85, 90 years old thinking, I really wish I would have done that, or I really wish I would have tried that. And I think that's smart for everybody to live life that way. Try anything once, man. Try anything once. See how you like it. You never know. Even if you think you're not going to like it, you may love it, and you may be really good at it. So let it rip. That's my advice. Let it rip.
All right.
Let it rip. Like John Bailey used to say.
Yeah.
Grip it and rip it, baby.
Rip it and rip it.
All right, everyone. For Matt Jones and Cook McKoy of Dinnerbell Road, I'm Tom Lamog. You've been listening to the Roundtable, where heroes talk. Be sure to keep the conversation going and keep honoring our heroes. Good night.